Hello everyone, this is notes for lesson 19A. So this lesson is interesting. What this lesson is asking is a specific number a solution to an equation? So if you look, we have number 1. So again, this is notes for 19A. We're on question number 1. And notice we have a calculator. So we're going to be using the calculator today. So we have an equation right here, negative 7x plus 2 equals negative 26. And the question is asking, is x equals 5 a solution to the equation? So the first thing that we do is we go up to our calculator and we type in our left side of our equation. So we're going to type in negative 7, but in place of the x, we're going to put parenthesis, space, parenthesis, plus 2. So notice I typed into the calculator negative 7, and then in place of the x I put parentheses plus 2. So notice it's the same as this, it's just I didn't put in a number for x. Now we go down to the first part and it says, is x equals 5 a solution? So we type 5 right there, and it says negative 33 in the calculator. So if we look over here, this says negative 26. So no, x equals 5 is not a solution. Why is it not a solution? Because in the calculator I got negative 33, but the number that I wanted to get was negative 26. If I get negative 26, then it is a solution. If I get anything else, then it's not a solution. Okay, now I go down to the second part and it says, is x equal 4 a solution? So I'm going to go back to my parentheses, I'm going to backspace over the 5, I'm going to type a 4, and it says negative 26. And then I go look at my equation, and that's what it's supposed to say, negative 26. So yes, 4 is a solution, and then I submit, and I go to the next problem. Okay, number 2, notice that my calculator still has the last equation, so I'm going to go ahead and backspace out of there. So number 2, this one's a little bit different. This one says 8x minus 6 equals 2x minus 36. So in the calculator, we're going to type 8, parenthesis, parenthesis, minus 6. And that's the left side. Then we're going to hit enter. And do you notice it gives us a new line to type in the calculator? We're going to type 2, parenthesis, parenthesis, minus 36. So notice that the left side, 8x minus 6, we typed into the top equation, 8 or top slot, 8 parenthesis minus 6. And then in the one underneath it, we typed 2 parenthesis minus 36. Now, our first question is x equals negative 5 a solution? So we're going to go into our parentheses and we're going to type negative 5. Then go to our parentheses and type negative 5. And are our answers the same? Do they match? Yes, they do. So it is a solution, yes. Okay, now the next one says, is x equals negative 4 a solution? So we're going to go backspace over the 5 and make it a 4. Backspace over the 5 and make it a 4. And if you look at our answers, do you notice that they are not the same? They do not match. So the answer is no, it is not a solution. So in order for it to be a solution, the answers have to come out the same. And if they don't, then it's not a solution. And so then we submit and we move on to number 3. Okay, now number 3, we're going to backspace over our equations from last time. And number 3 just has one equation this time. So it's 5x plus 1. So 5 parenthesis, parenthesis, plus 1. Okay, now notice that it says y equals this time. So remember that when we have points, the first number is our x and the second number is our y. So our x is negative 2 and our y is negative 5. So I come up here and I type negative 2 into the parenthesis, and then I look at my answer and I see if my answer matches the y value. And notice that my answer is negative 9, which does not match negative 5. So that one is not a solution. I'm not going to select it. Okay, now the second point down says negative 6 for the x. So I'm going to backspace over the 2, and I'm going to put a 6 there. And notice that we got negative 29 as our answer. Okay, now we go look at the second point, and look, negative 29 is what I wanted, and that's what I got. Negative 29 here in the calculator matches negative 29 here. So yes, it's a solution. Now you have to remember when you're doing these that the first number is always the x. So the next point, the negative 1 is my x. So I'm going to backspace over the negative 6 and make it negative 1. And then when I look at my calculator, I get negative 4. So I come over here and I look, but I wanted to get negative 6. So no, it doesn't work. So I don't select it. The next point down is 2 for the x. So I'm going to come back up here, backspace over the negative 1, type in 2. The answer in my calculator is 11. I go look, and look at that. It's supposed to be 11. So I click it because yes, it is the answer. So then I go to the next one, and the x is 5. So I come over here and I backspace over the 2 and make it a 5. And my answer in the calculator comes out 26. So I go back over here and I look, and it's supposed to be 26. So that does work, so I click it. Okay, then the last one, my x is 12. So I'm going to backspace over the 5, make it a 12. And my answer in the calculator is 61. And I look, and this one says 17. 17 is not the same as 61, so I do not select it. So notice that of the 6 points, 3 of them worked and 3 of them didn't work. So now I submit my question and I move on to the next one. Okay, so number 4, I got a backspace over in my calculator screen. And notice that my equation this time is y equals negative 3x plus 3. Okay, so in my calculator, I'm going to type negative 3, parenthesis, plus 3. Okay, now remember when we look at a point, the first number is the x, the second number is the y. So if you look right here, negative 3x plus 3. So I want to put the x into my calculator screen. So negative 7 is my x. So I come up here, and in my parentheses, I type negative 7, and the answer comes out 24. So I go over here and I look, and I wanted to get 27, so it didn't work. So then I move on to the next point, and my x is 4. So I backspace over the negative 7, and I put 4, and my calculator answer comes out negative 9. And I look at that second point, and look, negative 9, that's what I wanted. So I click it because it worked. Now I move on to the third point, and my x is 5. So I'm going to backspace over the 4, make it a 5, and the calculator screen gives me negative 12. Negative 12. So I go look, and no, I wanted to get negative 14. So negative 12 doesn't work. So I'm not going to select it. So then I go to the next point, and the next point, the x is 2. So I go over to my 5, in my parenthesis, I backspace over the 5, I make it a 2. My calculator screen gives me negative 3. I go look, no, because when x is 2, it's supposed to come out negative 1. So that doesn't work. So I go to my last point, and my x is negative 3. So I come up to my 2, I backspace over my 2, I type negative 3, and the answer in the calculator says 12. And then I go look here, and what do you know? It is 12, so I click it. So now I'm ready to submit, but before I submit, I just want to show you something. So our equation was y equals negative 3x plus 3. Okay, what if I'm not using a calculator? How can I do this if I'm not using a calculator? So I want you to notice that my first point was negative 727, and I did not select it because it didn't work. So negative 7 and 27. Remember, this is x and this is y. So I'm going to put y equals negative 3 parenthesis plus 3. Now, just like I did in the calculator screen, I'm going to write the negative 7 in my parentheses because that's my x. So y equals negative 3 times, oh, I can do that. Negative 3 times negative 7 is positive 21. And then y equals 21 plus 3, which is 24. Okay, now I go and I compare. Does 24 match with 27? No, it does not. Okay, so it doesn't work, so I don't select it. Okay, now let me show you one that does work. So remember that our equation was y equals negative 3x plus 3. Okay, let's test this last one that did work. Negative 3, 12. Negative 3, 12. Remember, the first one is x, the second one is y. So I say y equals negative 3 parenthesis plus 3. And then remember, the number that goes in the parenthesis is the x, so it's going to be the negative 3. So y equals negative 3 parenthesis negative 3 plus 3. Now I simplify. Negative 3 times negative 3 is 9 plus 3. And then y equals 12. Now look, see how my y's are the same, so it does work. So you don't have to use a calculator to answer these. We just gave you the calculator to help you out a little bit, okay? So it does work. Now we move on, we go ahead and submit, and we move on to number 5. Now we backspace in our calculator, and our new equation is negative 3x plus 8. So we do negative 3 parenthesis parenthesis plus 8. Now our first point is negative 4, 20. So negative 4 is the x, so we're going to go to our parentheses and type negative 4, and we got 20 in the calculator. So we go, look, oh, that's what we wanted. 20's right. True. Okay, now our next point is 9, 0. So we want to substitute 9 for the x. So we're going to backspace over the negative 4 and put 9. And our answer in the calculator comes out negative 19. Okay, if we look, notice we wanted to get 0. So no, that doesn't work. It's false. And that is it. And we submit, and we are done, and we are ready to do homework 19A. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day, and I will see you next class.